I used to do reviews of everything Marvel. If the MCU put it out, I reviewed it. All the way up to, I think the last one that I did was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Maybe. Uh, Maybe Civil War. One of those two. Um, I stopped doing them because, frankly, I couldn't keep up. I reviewed the shows. I reviewed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I reviewed the Netflix shows. And now there's so many things in the MCU, I can't even keep track. I don't even know if Runaways fits into the MCU. I know Cloak and Dagger, I think, does. I don't even know if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still on. I'm behind. I have not watched Luke Cage Season 2, and Iron Fist Season 2 is coming out next month, and Daredevil Season 3 is coming out by the end of the year, and I just can't keep up with it anymore. I mean, the universe has gotten so huge. And that culminates in part one of what is quite possibly, and I can't say this for sure because you have to see how this whole saga ends, but culminates in what may just be the greatest comic book film franchise of all time. I'm, of course, talking about Avengers Infinity War. Another custom case. This one, as you can see, has a blank spot in it because there's no artwork right now or plot synopsis for Avengers 4. So, and really not a whole lot for Captain Marvel either. What do I do with the actual case, the artwork that comes with it and all that? Frankly, I discard it. This is beautiful. I think this is great. And this is volume 4 in my MCU collection. And the final volume. I mean, I've said this before, but I feel like Avengers 4 is one of the final movies that I will buy on Blu-ray and to complete this collection. I know Spider-Man, what is it, Far From Home, is due to come out almost immediately after Avengers 4, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 maybe comes out that same year, but and I'm not saying I won't watch them, I'm just saying I'm done buying them. And Avengers 4 feels like it'll be a good place to end it. But we're here today to talk about Avengers Infinity War, and holy shit, that movie is, well, it's quite possibly the greatest superhero movie ever made, in my opinion. And Marvel keeps doing that. I mean, I felt it about the first Avengers. Then I felt it about Civil War. And about Winter Soldier, too. This really pays off almost everything. And manages to tie up a bunch of loose ends from a variety of movies. It's hard to say, really, right now, because until Avengers 4 comes out, I have no idea if the things I'm hoping, if the things set up in Infinity War will pay off in a rewarding way. I have a feeling that they will. But looking at Infinity War simply as a movie unto itself, I mean, it's got just about every single Marvel hero in it. And it doesn't ever, in my opinion, feel convoluted. It doesn't feel like anybody suffers being like, oh, well, they really shortchanged this person or that person. Closest I can think that maybe somebody gets shortchanged would be Black Panther. And really, I think that they just didn't know. They didn't know the giant blockbuster they had on their hands with Black Panther. Infinity War, of course, is the story of Thanos finally collecting the Infinity Stones that have been teased all throughout the MCU ever since Captain America, the First Avenger. And Josh Brolin plays Thanos and becomes the quite possibly the greatest villain in the MCU but also one of the greatest villains in comic book movie history. Um, I think Kevin Feige or somebody once they said he's going to be this generation's Darth Vader, and he might be. Everybody from every movie pretty much returns. We've got, you know, Iron Man, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, and uh, Black Widow, and Scarlet Witch, and Vision, and all these characters. And when I was a kid, the idea that a movie like this could ever happen when I was a kid, impossible. You'd never think it. You'd never believe it could happen. And somehow it did. I mean, somehow Marvel had the guts to have this film franchise that managed to really keep everybody's interest throughout all. It never felt like we were oversaturated. It never felt like, ugh, God, another Marvel movie. I really don't want to see this. It was like you got excited because it was another piece of the puzzle. It was something else that kind of clicked into place, and you knew it was building to something. This is what it was building to, Infinity War. And of course, Infinity War, really, everybody kind of talks about it as if it's the end. It's really not. I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp has already come out. Captain Marvel is going to come out. And those two movies, combined with everything that came before, will be completely paid off in Avengers 4. With, I'm sure, a setup for whatever they have in place for the future. I really hope that when we look back on it, phases 1, 2, and 3 of the MCU really form this unique trilogy of, not a trilogy of like a traditional trilogy where it's single movies, 3 single movies, but a collection of movies that inform one another. I think that the MCU stumbled early on. I mean, the cast changes of like Edward Norton and Terrence Howard, which I didn't like. And, maybe doing a little too much with Iron Man 2. I feel like once they hit Captain America, the Winter Soldier, they have been hitting on all cylinders pretty much every movie since. I think a lot of people might say that the weakest one of the bunch would be Age of Ultron. But even that, to me, was still a really fun comic book movie. Infinity War, though, takes it to a whole other place. This is an epic film. This is the Bridge on the River Kwai or Lawrence of Arabia of comic book movies. And I saw it twice in the theater. I can't wait to watch it over and over and over again on home video. 5 out of 5 stars. Infinity War is quite possibly a perfect movie. I can't say that for sure until I've seen Avengers 4 to see if it really ties up tight. But at least as of right now, I would say Avengers 4, one of the greatest comic book movies ever made.